Okay, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here again with Toastmasters. It's always a lot of fun to come out and spend an evening with you guys and listen to what everyone had to say and hear so many interesting and worthwhile presentations. So as I usually do, I'd like to begin by asking for a round of applause for everyone who came up here this evening to speak. Let's congratulate them. Okay, so unfortunately my wife and I arrived a little bit late, so I'm sorry, Amy, I missed most of your speech, but maybe you can send us the PowerPoint because I do like dessert. The second prepared speech was Joseph, focus on yourself. Yes, very good. I liked your message very much. I think it's positive and empowering for people to understand the idea of looking at things from the perspective of ways that you can make a difference or impact the situation. You said some situations pop out. Instead of pop out, we would say come up, or more formally, we would say arise. A situation arises. It's a little bit formal, but we might say that. You said you blame on everything except yourself. Okay, so before I came to Taiwan, I never realized how complicated English is. Okay, and I will give you one example of that. In English, we use different prepositions in different situations to connect different nouns together. So we do say blame on if we are connecting the situation that we're unhappy about with the person that we are blaming. So I might say, I blame the fact that we are late on my friend. However, if I switch things around, I would say, I blame my friend for making us late, for being late. And if I'm not going to mention the thing that I'm complaining about, I'm just going to blame someone. I don't use any preposition. So there's 3 different possibilities depending on the order of things in your sentence. For just one verb, you have 3 different prepositions. You also said that your company sold a chemical element. I happen to be a chemical engineer, and so I think you mean a chemical compound or probably a chemical product. There's only 120 elements, technically. Can't let that one go as an engineer. And later, at the heart of your speech, you talk about, you said you should blame yourself. I want to suggest in that context that you use a different word. Blame has a negative connotation. So instead of saying that you blame yourself, you can say that you take responsibility for the situation. That's a more positive and empowering way of expressing the same idea. If you're blaming yourself, that sounds negative. That sounds like something you shouldn't do. But if you're taking responsibility for the situation, that's positive, and that's something that you should do. Okay, continuing on, Darren. Darren outside? No.
Yeah.
Not here. Okay, that's fine. I liked his presentation very much. If he gives this speech again, someone can suggest for someone that's not completely familiar with the geography of Taiwan, a map would have been helpful to me to see where this interesting place was. And I heard him speak about a woods area. There's actually a special adjective. You can say wooded. A wooded area is a place with many trees. And when you say that a patch of ground is covered in forest, you can refer, the tops of the trees are called the canopy. And so if you're walking through the forest and you cannot see the sky because there are so many trees, you can say that you are underneath the tree canopy. And lastly, towards the end of his speech, he said, speaking about going on this, there you are, speaking of going on this hiking trip, you said it seems to be hard, it seems to be tired, it seems to be exhausted. In English, we have some adjectives that apply to a person, and we have some adjectives that apply to a situation. Okay, so hard or difficult describes the situation, describes hiking up a tall mountain. but tired and exhausted describe a person. The person is tired, the person is exhausted after going through this ordeal. So again, some adjectives apply to a person and some adjectives apply to a situation that a person finds themselves in. Okay, Danny, the kwai? Yes. I'm probably gonna, I don't know if I'm being timed, I'm gonna go over time, but I have to tell a short story about the kwai. So when my first year as an assistant professor, I was on the laboratory safety committee. I'm in the Department of Chemical Engineering, for those of you who don't know. I was on the laboratory safety committee, and we were given a checklist, and we would go from lab to lab and check laboratory safety. And one of the items on the list is no food or drink in the laboratory area. And so I walked into the first laboratory, and it was all very clean and well organized, except right there on the instrument was a package of snacks. And so I wrote food in laboratory area. And then we went to the next laboratory, and once again it was all very clean and well organized, but right there on the instrument was a package of snacks. And so once again I wrote food in laboratory area. And we went to the third, and by the third or fourth laboratory, I was noticing that it was always exactly the same package of snacks. There was always only one, and it was never open. And so I asked one of the other professors that was traveling with us, I said, why is there always this package of snacks on the instrument? And he said, well, the name of the snack in Chinese, it sounds like continuing to work or performing well, and so they put it there for good luck. And I thought, well, that's not the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard in my life. Since then, I've seen it various places in Taiwan, so it's an interesting story. And I agree with your message that scientists and engineers do not have to be non-religious, and they don't have to be non-superstitious either. That's a word that I want to suggest to you. The tradition of putting a package of snacks on the machine, in English we would call that a superstition, as distinct from a religion, I would say. A religion is something more profound, something someone believes with more sincerity. A superstition is something, some athletes are very superstitious. They always wear the same batting gloves, or they always follow the same routine before a game or something like that. Or if you're scared to walk underneath a ladder, or you're scared of seeing a black cat, we would say that you are superstitious. So my suspicion is that superstition is a better word to describe that behavior. And lastly, towards the end of your speech, I heard you say totally saying, where we would say in summary or in conclusion. I'm sure that I'm over time. I don't think you guys are kind enough not to time my language evaluation. I'll just make one more comment, which is we have a special word. These new ballots, we would describe this as being perforated. This piece of paper has been perforated, small holes have been punched in order to make it easier to fold and tear. We have a special word for that. This paper is described as being perforated. Okay, that's all of my comments for this evening. Again, wonderful meeting. Congratulations to everyone that came up to speak, all of the officers and everyone that organized the meeting. You all did an excellent job. Toastmasters continuing on. Wonderful tradition here at NTU Toastmasters. Excellent meeting. Congratulations to all of you again. Thank you for inviting me.